They gave me Alaskan and told me the Emperor protects. I was 17. The recruiter had teeth missing and smelled of recaf, and he said, "Son, the Astra Militarum will make something of you." He was not wrong. He just did not specify what it would make me into. Praxia 4 was an Auk incursion. That is how the commissar described it in the briefing, an incursion, as though it were a minor administrative problem. As though 6 million greenskins pouring across a continental shelf was a matter of paperwork and patience. I had never seen an Auk before that morning. I had never heard that sound, that howling, crashing, bone-shaking roar of a wog building like a storm you cannot outrun. I fired my Laskin for 112 times in the first engagement. I counted. I was afraid that if I stopped counting, I would have to think about what I was shooting at. By the end of the third day, I had stopped counting. The Ox broke on the third day. We held. I was told this was a victory. I believed it. I was young enough to believe in victories. The second war was against chaos. I will not name the warband. I will not repeat the symbols I saw. The commissariat has specific guidance about that and I follow it still, though the commissariat in question died on Varanthos station in a manner I will not describe. What I will tell you about the second war is this: the Chaos forces did not fight like the Ox. The Ox wanted to fight you. They were joyful about it in their horrible way. The Chaos warriors wanted to unmake you. There is a difference between an enemy that wants to kill you and an enemy that wants to erase the concept of you. I learned that difference at Varanthos station. I held a breach in sub-level 9 for 11 hours with 4 other guardsmen. By the end there were 2 of us, Trooper Adini Kess and myself. She prayed the whole time, never stopped, not even when she was firing. Prayers running underneath her, breathing like a river. I did not pray. I was still angry enough to believe that anger was sufficient. I was wrong about that too, but Kess and I walked out of sub-level 9. That counts for something. It counts for something. The third war was Tyranids. I want you to understand what that means before I continue. It does not mean soldiers with guns and banners and commanders making decisions. It means a living tide. It means something that has no politics, no grievance, no mercy, no cruelty, nothing that you can appeal to or reason with or hate in a way that makes you feel human. The Tyranids of High Fleet Horan consumed 3 regiments before our command acknowledged the scale of what we faced. We fought in jungles that had been partially digested, the trees half converted into biological architecture, the soil soft and warm beneath your boots in ways that soil should not be warm. I lost 31 comrades in the jungle of Horan. I watched a boy from my unit, Casper, 17 years old, same age I had been at Praxia, get taken by a lictor. There was nothing I could do. I have told myself that every night since. There was nothing I could do. I wonder sometimes if the truth is that there was something and I did not do it fast enough. I wonder that every night too. By the 4th war I had been promoted, Sergeant. The promotion came because everyone above me had died, which is the most common form of career advancement in the Astra Militarum. I want to be honest about what the siege of Cathari Prime did to me, and honesty requires that I first tell you what I was going into it. I was not the 17-year-old from Praxia. I had been at war for 11 years. I had learned to sleep in foxholes. I had learned to eat rations that tasted like promethium and feel grateful for them. I had learned to not learn the names of new recruits until the 3rd week, because the first 2 weeks have the highest casualty rate. I had built walls inside myself that I believed were permanent. The siege of Cathari Prime lasted 8 months. It was a civil conflict, imperial forces against an entrenched planetary governor who had declared independence under what he called a new covenant with the people. I will not adjudicate the politics of that. What I will tell you is that by the 5th month, we were shelling hab blocks. By the 6th month, I stopped being able to tell the difference between the sounds of artillery and my own heartbeat. The walls I had built inside myself did not break. They just became load-bearing. Everything I was rested on them. That is not health, that is architecture. No one told us there were Necrons on Soloth. The briefing described Enzino's archaeological site of potential strategic value. That is what the briefing said, archaeological site. I want whoever wrote that briefing to explain it to the 417 guardsmen who walked into that tomb. I want them to explain it to the 63 who walked out. The Necrons do not fight like Ox or Chaos or Tyranids. They fight like inevitability. You shoot them and they fall. And then they reassemble. And then they stand up again. I watched a comrade put 3 Laskin shots through the chest of a Necron warrior and watch it stagger, fall, and rise. She looked at me with an expression I had never seen on a soldier's face before, not fear, not rage, but something like philosophical despair. Like a child who has just understood that the world does not operate on fair principles. We made it out because a lieutenant with more tactical sense than the mission planners recognized the tomb's kill zone layout and found us an exit corridor. I do not know his name. I should have asked. There are 100 names I should have asked. Between the 5th and 6th war there were 4 months on a transit ship. 4 months in a metal box between the stars. I slept 14 hours a day for the first 2 months. The Mechanicus said it was stress response. I said yes. What I did not say was that the sleeping was the only time I felt safe, because in sleep nothing was trying to kill me and I did not have to be responsible for anyone. In the dreams I went back to Praxia, not to the battle to before. To the morning of the day I enlisted. I was sitting in the yard of my family's processing plant and my father was arguing with the servitors about maintenance schedules and my sister was reading and everything smelled like metal and grain and I was bored. I was so bored I could feel it like a weight. I would give everything I had survived to be that bored again. The 6th war, the Arvendis Reclamation, was against renegade PDF forces. Former Imperial Guard who had turned against their oaths. I understood them more than I expected to. I did not join them, but I understood. The distinction between understanding and sympathy is the only moral line I have left, and I hold it like a relic. The 7th war was Nurgle. I will say that simply, without elaboration, and I trust that if you have any knowledge of what that means you will understand why I will not elaborate. What I will tell you is this: you can train a soldier for pain. You can train a soldier for fear. You cannot train a soldier for the specific despair of a Nurgle-plagued world, the way everything is alive in the wrong ways, the way the air smells of sweetness and rot together, the way the afflicted look at you with eyes that contain both suffering and something that is almost peace. I do not know which was harder, fighting those who attacked us, or looking at those who had succumbed and understanding that they were not fully lost, just lost in a direction we were not permitted to follow. I was the only one from my squad who did not contract the pilot sickness. The Mechanicus could not explain why I was spared. I have thought about it every day since. I do not think I was spared because I deserved to be. I think I was spared randomly, arbitrarily, in the way that survival always is, not reward, not punishment. Just the universe continuing without consulting you. I am 51 years old. I have been a soldier for 34 of those years. I would like to tell you that I have found something faith, or purpose, or at least a settled relationship, with what I have done and seen. I would like to tell you that people want to hear it. The regimental chaplain wants to hear it. The Mechanicus scribes who run the psychological assessments want to hear it. They want a neat summary, something that fits in a box, something that proves the system produces soldiers who can endure and return and be of use. I have given them those summaries. I am good at giving people what they need in an interview. What I will tell you here, in this record that may or may not be reviewed by anyone, is the truth. The truth is that I do not know how to live without a war to define the shape of my days. I wake at 040 because I have woken at 040 for 30 years and my body has forgotten that it was ever any other way. I eat quickly because quick eating is what you do when you might have to move. I sit with my back to walls. I count exits. I do not cry, though I think I should. I have not cried since the jungle of Horin and I lost Casper to the lictor. After that I think something sealed over. I do not know if it will ever open again. I am not sure I want it to. I carry a low stick case. I do not smoke. I gave that up after Cathari Prime because I needed my lungs at full capacity for the 5th war. But the case belonged to Adini Kess. She gave it to me on Varanthos station when we walked out of sub-level 9. She said, "Keep this for me while I reload." She never asked for it back. She died on the transit to the next deployment, a reactor fault, nothing dramatic, nothing worthy of the soldier she was. She just stopped existing between one system and the next. I have carried the case for 22 years. It has no religious significance in the approved sense. It is not a standard item of remembrance listed in the regimental grief protocols. It is just a small metal object that belonged to someone who prayed without stopping and still found time to keep fighting, and it reminds me that there are ways of being human under pressure that I have not fully mapped. Kes prayed because she believed. I carry her case because I cannot stop. We are both, in our different ways, faithful to something. I think that matters. I think that is the closest I have come to understanding why I survived 7 wars when better soldiers did not. Not because I deserved to, because Kes gave me something to carry and I have not put it down. They have offered me a discharge. A full honorable discharge with pension allocation and Medicaid support and a place in the veteran settlement on Crastus 4. I have read the paperwork 3 times. It is a generous offer. It is, by any rational measure, the correct choice for a 51-year-old man whose body has absorbed more damage than the Medicaid are comfortable detailing in writing. I have not signed it. I tell myself I am considering it. But I know what I am actually doing. I am waiting, because the 8th war will come. It always comes, and whatever I have become across 7 wars, whatever this thing is that wakes at 0 for 0 and counts exits and cannot cry, it is at least useful here, in this particular darkness, doing this particular job. Out there, in Crastus 4, eating regular meals and sleeping in a bed with consistent softness. I do not know what I am. I have not been that person for so long I cannot remember his shape. The Emperor protects, they told me when I was 17. He did. I am still here. I am not sure that is the same as being safe. I am not sure it ever was, but I am still here. And tomorrow if the regiment deploys again, I have already packed. Please like, comment, share and subscribe to this channel for more videos like this. Thank you for watching. You are a real hero. See you in the next video.